Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Wheel of Albums. I'm with my brother Adam and our friend Jack. I'm Justin. What we do here on Wheel of Albums is we spin a wheel with the 1001 albums you must hear before you die from Robert Dimery's book. Then the three of us listen to that album for a week and we get back to you and let you know if we think it's an album you must hear before you die. This week, brother Adam got the wheel and he spun 1983's Swordfishtrombones by Tom Waits.
In a Hong Kong drizzle on Cuban heels, I rode down the gutter to the blood bank, and I'd left all my papers on the Ticonderoga, and I was in bad need of a shave.
My initial reaction was I've dabbled with some Tom Waits here and there. I consider all his 70s stuff the same. I lump it all together as a piano troubadour in the 70s, mainly that I learned from college, from the 90s, like Bone Machine, Mule Variations. In the 80s, two of his most acclaimed albums are Swordfishtrombones and Rain Dogs. Swordfishtrombones, it's kind of where things get kind of weird.
I slopped at the corner of cold chow mein and shot billiards with a midget until the rain stopped.
I'm familiar with Tom Waits. I like Tom Waits. I don't necessarily have a great familiarity with this album. What I really look forward to, in my mind, Adam going from a Waits hater into a Waits lover and admirer. We're going to watch some growth or hear some growth this week, I think.
And I bought a long-sleeved shirt with horses on the front and some gum and a lighter and a knife and a new deck of cards with girls on my back. And I sat down and wrote a letter to my wife. Oh, yay. When I think of Tom Waits' voice, I think of eating leather and washing it down with liquid shoe polish. That's the thought I have of Tom Waits' voice. I don't have much hope on Swordfishtrombones, an album I have heard once before, but Waits is like one of my least favorite artists of all time. So let's see if me being older makes me enjoy Tom a little more.
So like I said before, this is kind of a new beginning for Waits. In 1982, he started recording Swordfishtrombones. He produced the whole thing. His newfound style is credited to he has a new wife, and his wife has a love for Captain Beefheart. Nothing odd about that. And tons of different instruments. So with just those two things in mind, Swordfishtrombones was built off of that foundation. What do you guys think? New wife, new life? Do you like it?
This is a departure from what he was doing. It's no longer piano-based. It's almost, here's something that makes noise. Let's incorporate it into song. True fun fact, Tom Waits originally tried as his backup band, tried to hire Fat Albert's Junkyard Band.
He is trying to sound like Captain Beefheart. I don't understand why anyone would want to go that route. And he kind of prevails on it a little bit. He certainly uses the new style to his advantage. He finds like a dark cellar of the musical arena to call his own. What's down that way in the basement? Oh, it's vagabonds, vampires, madmen, and Tom Waits.
My first exposure to Tom Waits was on a fake talk show, TV show called Fernwood Tonight, semi-spinoff, I guess, or a companion piece to Mary Hartman. And they claimed that Tom Waits's car broke down when he was going to a show somewhere, so he had to appear as a guest there. At the time, I wasn't sure what he was, but apparently just a bedraggled drunkard, vagabond of sorts, a troubadour, and he was an excellent guest, and he left an impression on my young mind, and we went looking for Tom Waits records at probably an inappropriately young age.
I think the first time I ever heard Tom Waits' voice, I thought he was like a Frank Oz doing Cookie Monster or something. And then the first time I ever heard Swordfishtrombones, after picking it up, I actually was just like, is this guy demented? It's like a rundown circus as far as all the instruments go. It sounds like a strange after midnight show that would have been on HBO in the 80s, maybe paired up with Tales from the Crypt.
There's a goodie bag of musical instruments on Swordfishtrombones. Why don't just play the swordfish as a trombone? Fooling around with an instrument you don't know how to play, or I think throughout the real MVP is the xylophone as it's used. I really love that, especially on songs like Shore Leave, Swordfishtrombones as well. I think they do a really good job of using the xylophone and different things. Same thing, 16 shells from a 30-06. They use an anvil and a hammer sound, which those are my MVPs of musical instruments, and there's a lot.
It's bigger than Tom Waits' previous songs. Tom Waits' previous songs would be distilled versions of the emotion that a singular person was feeling.
Exactly, like looking for the heart of a Saturday night.
And it was more of a cleaned up poem, regardless of its, urbanite nature. This seems more like the stories behind the people that eventually got strewn down into the clean poems that on the piano-driven songs.
And all the instruments are here to make this another enjoyable type of Tom Waits experience. Transition, whenever he starts adding in more of these instruments, like we said. Let's cut to the chase, though. What really makes a Tom Waits album? How about all the characters on this? What about Frank from Frank's Wild Years? Did he really burn Carlos in that house fire at the end of the song? Never really liked that dog anyways.
The MVP character, Frank's wife, that character, the most intriguing and hilarious of all. Something with the lyric of Frank's wife was a spent piece of used jet trash, made good Bloody Marys, kept her mouth shut most of the time, and had a little chihuahua named Carlos that had some kind of skin disease and was totally blind.
There's just too much going on. You gotta hope that comments about the dog were an exaggeration or not true. You hope Frank's a liar, and those aren't Frank's, in fact, wild years that he burnt that dog with the house.
I'm afraid Carlos is dead.
And I gotta say, Frank's wife, you've got life in you. You're not a spent piece of used jet trash. You can do something with your life. Don't listen to Frank.
With the instrumentals, and it seems like the skits, I mean, this is kind of like a 90s rap album, like something you'd find, from any rap artist. These nuts! They're saying maybe Tom Waits was the inspiration for Dr. Dre and others who had skits throughout their albums. It's a long shot, but I'm going to go with that for now.
Shorter to a degree, or there's scenes that aren't overly drawn out, like some Saturday Night Live skit or something. Presents you with an image, a feeling, whether it's good, bad, or disturbing, and then it moves on.
I think the downfall of Swordfishtrombones, in my opinion, is that it's about 3 tracks too long. I think the last 3 tracks are not needed on the album, and I think I would probably shuffle the track list and make In the Neighborhood the ending song of the entire album.
That's an interesting call, Adam. I kind of like that. Since you took the time to give a rundown of your thoughts on all 15 songs on the album, let's go track by track. We haven't done this in 60 albums yet, but we're going to do a track by track while me and Jack will interject here. Swordfishtrombones with Adam.
A rundown of the tracks on Swordfishtrombones. The song Underground makes me think of preschool children learning how to play instruments while their drunk uncle sings.
Skeletons, but cartoon skeletons kind of playing around after midnight in the cemetery, and this song's called Underground, so in my mind it was skeletons playing at nighttime after the rest of the city's gone to sleep.
Surely, maybe my favorite lyrics of the whole album, love the xylophone, what is going on at the end of this song.
Adam's still haunted by the end of the song as he just texted something about it 2 minutes ago.
Dave the Butcher. It's like Dave the Butcher is a serial killer pillaging a demented circus-themed daycare where he goes through all the musical toys and tries them all.
You want it to be happy, but there's this underlying scariness to it, even though it's a merry-go-round type of song. And then it's called Dave the Butcher. Why is that? What is going on?
Jonesburg, Illinois. Boring. 16 shells from a 30-06.
Chrissy Hine, this is the real Chain Gang.
All-time favorite Waits song by far. It's like the band actually learned to play. Love the anvil and hammer sound. Town with no cheer. Waits sounds like a depressed Ralph the dog from the Muppets.
And he chooses Town with no cheer instead of Town without cheer. And for some reason, Town with no cheer makes it even sadder. So he knows what he's doing with his English.
In the Neighborhood, the perfect 2 a.m. bar song. You don't have to sound good to sing it, and all the drunk people belt it out together.
Along with Hang Down Your Head from Rain Dogs in Your Neighborhood is one of my favorite songs of Waits from the 80s. The character descriptions and the scene that he's painting is so good.
Just Another Sucker on the Vine? Boring. Frank's Wild Years. Captivating and hilarious.
You hope Frank's a liar, and those aren't Frank's, in fact, wild years that he burnt that dog.
Swordfishtrombones. The xylophone on this and the entire album is the real MVP.
One of my favorite 3 on this album too, Adam.
Down, Down, Down. Favorite find of the entire album. It's the perfect Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem impersonation.
I like that, but I think Jim Henson always made Dr. Tooth out of Dr. John from back in the 70s. Hopefully we get some Dr. John on the wheel.
Soldiers Things. It feels like he's shared an entire bottle of bourbon with a couple veterans at a VFW. Gin-soaked boy, filler. Troubles braids, filler. Rainbirds, filler.
Swordfish Trombones final ratings. We took all the songs on the album, rated them from a score of 1 to 10. Adam gave it a 4.46, Jack a 7.46, I gave it a 5.36 for an overall rating between the three of us of 5.76. Our favorite three songs: In the Neighborhood, number 2, 16 Shells from a 30-ounce 6, and number 3, Swordfish Trombone. Our two least favorite songs were Gin-Soaked Boy and Rainbirds.
So when we spun Swordfish Trombones, I realized that the episode was going to come out on my birthday, and I thought, yes, what a present for me to be able to trash Mr. Tom Waits for my birthday. But upon further review, I think you got to listen to Swordfish Trombones. It's kind of fun to listen to. I think you have to listen to it a few times. I'm warming to you, Tom Waits. Maybe by the time I'm like 65, I'll really love you. We'll see what happens with Rain Dogs, I'm sure, later on down the line. Justin and Jack, what do you think?
I will say, Adam, I'm happy that you've warmed up to Tom Waits. He is one of the great storytellers in music history, I think. But this falls into the same category as the last album we just did. I think this is more a transition album. What comes after this with Rain Dogs, Frank's Wild Years, Bone Machine, I think those are all albums that should be in the category of albums you should hear before you die. This is just a taste, an appetizer. Mozzarella sticks aren't something you should eat before you die. So I look forward to another Tom Waits spin on the wheel. I'm gonna have to say Swordfish Trombones is a good album, not one you should hear before you die. Jack?
His vocal stylings, which are unorthodox too, it all meshes together. Yes, you should listen to Swordfish Trombones before you die. You should listen to several Tom Waits albums before you die, but we're only on this one, and this is one to go for. The Dead Milkmen, I don't know if they were talking about Swordfish Trombones or not in the song Swordfish, but they say, I believe in swordfish. Hey man, let's swordfish. I'm going to end with that.
All right, so Adam has turned over to warming to Tom Waits. Jack, you got to spin for the next album. Go ahead.
And we are actually going to take a week off, and the next Wheel of Albums episode won't air for 2 weeks, but it is still time to give it a spin. This may be one of the newest albums that we've had on Wheel of Albums. To introduce this new album, let's bring back an old friend, Dusty Rhodes.
Hey, let me tell you something, Tony Schiavone. There can only be one Dusty Rhodes, and there should only be one American Dream. But there's two. There's also the American Dream by LCD Sound System.
2017 American Dream, LCD Sound System.
All right, we'll be back with that album April 27th. For my brother Adam, happy birthday, buddy. And Jack, I'm Justin. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Wheel of Albums.
Girls, how do you feel about Tom Waits?
No.
Maybe.
It
I don't know.
Hi.
Kind of like it.
The 11-year-old says horrible, and the 9-year-old says...
I kind of like it.
Welcome to Wheel of Albums After Dark. Tonight, old Woodsy stops by to tell us a story about orphans, brawlers, ballers, and bastards. One of the greatest tales of all time, 10-pound balls.
A lot of times little Johnny felt unloved in his home. His parents always out. Every time he picked up the telephone, he wondered why they called it a party line. It seemed like people were just discussing the various barbed wires that they had to travel through life, their aches, their pains, their miseries. It didn't seem like a party he ever wanted to be part of. One night, the party line was empty. Johnny had stirred up the courage to finally reach out, be somebody, do something in the town that he's never been allowed to grow in, never allowed to do anything in. And he stuck his mouth into his long-sleeve, double-button cuff shirt, and he made a couple chuckles into it for about what he was to do when he girded up his loins to call the local bowling alley. He wanted to call them and ask them, did you have 10-pound balls? And he did the same thing, but before he could finally get out the punchline of this unfunny, tired joke, he realized that his aunt was a co-proprietor of the bowling alley, and it wasn't going to work out for him. And Johnny spent the next 17 years of his life incarcerated, whether it be physically or mentally. He was never quite an adjusted boy after that. Beautiful.